We are live, and it is Saturday morning for Sean right now, I think, right?
It is. Good morning, everybody. How are we?
But enough about you, Sean. I am excited. We have a special guest, Kade, and I just met you not too long ago, I think. You reached out to me and you're like, yo, if you want a good guest, hit me up. I was like,
I figured I wouldn't give you the same answers you've been getting in the Patty probe, you know?
there we go. That's what I was
Little
like, say less. So, and I started poking around. I was like, holy shit, yeah, let's have a chat, man. Let's have a chat. So
it's a little different. It's a little
Kade,
different.
you are a little different. I love it, dude. As much as I say I'm on borderline purist, it doesn't matter, man. When you build something cool, you build something cool, right?
Yeah.
So, Kate, you're over in Utah, right?
Yeah. Yep. Been in Utah for about 8 years again. 9 years or so.
All right, nice. All right, so
Nice,
not too.
nice.
Sean, I don't know if you know what Utah is, but it's not terribly far from me.
Yeah, I know about Utah. I know about Utah.
Shit. Okay.
I'm a secret Yank in disguise. So
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
So again, Kade, thank you for being on, man. I'm super excited about this show. And Sean, thank you for toughing up and waking up at midnight to be on the first co-hosting show with a guest. So this is a milestone. We're not quite at episode 40. I thought we would, ring in something cool, but 39 it is. Enough with that jibba jabba. Kade, tell me, man. The first question I usually ask is, what attracted you to classic minis, or in your case, I don't know if you're attracted to classic minis or if you just wanted to build something super cool. So, kind of give me a little background here.
So a little bit of both. Not your typical story of like, well, I've always dreamt of having a mini. I have an addiction. I have a severe addiction of just vehicles. I'm 35 now. I think I'm on vehicle number 39. I'm pretty sure. So
let's go.
The episode. That being said, I am super attracted to the minis in the fact that out of those 39, 8 of them have been minis or mini adjacent type vehicles.
Oh, nice.
And I was stationed over in Lake and Heath for a little while, so lived over in Sean's part of the woods for a bit. And,
I know Lake and Heath very well.
So I was stationed over there for a little bit. I was always been like a Volkswagen Beetle fan. Had several of those, and I don't know what drew me to them. I think it's really that you can just drive the piss out of them everywhere you go. And the Mini gave me that same feeling. You're full throttle everywhere you go, and you just get to drive it. It's just a driver's car. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? It's like drive a slow car fast type of feeling,
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's I love all cars. I think most of us are maybe not quite addicted to cars, but I think we all, if we could, would be. And there's definitely some cool cars out there that are fast or exotics or Lambos or whatever it is. But there's something about, like you said, just driving the piss out of the car that is so appealing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I could have picked a cheaper thing to be addicted to, probably. But at least it doesn't ruin my whole family. So
I was just gonna say cheaper or worse thing to be addicted to. Yeah. There's a lot of. I know Sean.
On the mark. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Sean's a big Ken Block and Hoonigan fan, I think, and what's their slogan? Carcane.
Yeah, that's the one. Carcane. I think we've all got a touch of that, haven't we? Really. Let's be honest.
Yep.
So, Kade, you mentioned you've had like 8 or 9 minis or variants or something like that. Tell me what was your kind of first moment where you were like, I want to get a mini, or what was your first mini, and kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so went over to England. I was kind of an idiot and brought a BMW over there with me, 330 4-door. ZHP, and it was a good car. It was a fun car, but not as fun as I really was looking for. Something sporty, something a little bit more aggressive, right? And it's hard to say like, oh, a Mini's more aggressive, but when you hit a roundabout at 55, it's pretty aggressive. So went over there and looked on, just was kind of surfing Lake and Heath Buku is just kind of a common one over there, classifieds. Because of my addiction, I just search classifieds when I'm bored. And found this little Mini and figured I'd go take a look at it. It was an 88 Mayfair. Had like grass track roots, kind of. It looked pretty solid from the pictures. Two-toned blue and yellow with a white stripe on it and a white racing circle on the side. So I went out, took a look at it with a friend of mine, and it had the roll cage already. It already had bucket seats. It had had a stage 1 kit on it, and took it for a test drive, and I was hooked. Like it was like driving a go-kart. And that's what hooked me. That's what hooked me is the go-kart feel.
Yeah.
So ended up paying cash for it and brought it home, and which is funny. My roommate at the time had a 70. What was it? I think it was a 70 Chevelle SS with a big block in it. So at our house we had a 70 Chevelle and a 998 with a stage 1 Mini Cooper sitting in the driveway. So it was a little taste of the American and the British with it. So
yeah, that's the juxtaposition of those two.
yeah. So kind of a funny story on that. He didn't get his Chevelle until after I had the Mini, and we were kind of questioning whether his Chevelle was actually going to make it from the import place back to our house. And I was like, we'll take the Mini. It'll be fine. I gave him a ride in it, right? And we go to the import place, and in true Mini fashion, the Mini broke down on the way back, and the Chevelle made it back just fine. It was pretty funny, though. It was pretty funny. I was able to get it back. I just had to mess with it a little bit, but we were able to get it back.
It's like a ground went loose or something. It's never anything serious.
Nah, just the timing a little bit. We were okay.
Yeah. Like last episode, I was kind of telling Sean and the story about me getting my Mini ready for this rally that I went on last year, and not to spoil it too much, but the second part is going on the rally, and there's so many times I would stop at the gas station and I would go to get back in the car, the petrol station. Sorry, Sean. And
excuse me.
sorry, I want everyone to know what it was. And I would just go to turn the car on, it just nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like it was just running like a top, and then just like nothing. It was just jiggle some wires and away we go.
Yeah, terminal, battery terminal.
Exactly. It was just like what? Yep. What? So I'm assuming this Mini just kind of snowballed from there. And what did you immediately start modifying it? What did you kind of go down that rabbit hole of Minis? And
yeah, I did. I started modifying it. I mean, I didn't really know a ton about Minis at the time. So I was kind of just enjoying driving it, and I wanted to modify it without disabling it. I had a daily driver, so that was good. And then the Mini was kind of just a fun car. I ended up driving it more than the BMW. As a matter of fact, I think I sold the BMW after I thought it was reliable. So, but I was just living in Lake and Heath there, so it wasn't like I had a long commute. It wasn't like I was traveling the country very much. Military brought me there, and I was kind of just enjoying what we had there, and did a lot of go-kart racing and a lot of just running B roads on the Mini. And as far as modifications, once I first started, it's just like change the exhaust up a little bit, right? Pulled the fender flares off, and maybe wheel spacers or something just to give it a little bit more poke, a little bit more width, right. But nothing too crazy off that first one.
And it clearly snowballed from there. We can touch on other Minis if you would like, but your Instagram is V6_Mini. Everyone stop what you're doing right now. Continue listening, but go to Instagram and look up this Mini right now. Kade, why don't you kind of describe your thought process on this. What have you done to it? And more importantly, did you plan to just do this from the beginning, or like we've discussed, did it just snowball?
Yeah. So, my story kind of leads into the planning of it. Yes, I did plan to do this. But the reasoning behind it, after my 88, we ended up buying my wife an 87 Mayfair Auto. It was fun to drive for her, and then we ended up selling it. Next Mini I bought was a 72. It's the yellow one on my Instagram. It was a 72 with a K20 front wheel drive swap. And it was a rocket in a straight line. I mean, but it wasn't a Mini anymore. It didn't feel like a Mini. It didn't behave like a Mini. It didn't drive like a Mini, nothing. So 18 days later, I sold it and ended up buying my fourth Mini on eBay. Had a 1380 stage 2 clutch, fully done, complete paint, roll cage, bucket seats, dual carbs. Actually, it had a Weber carb on it. Full carbon fender flares, everything. And ended up selling that because I'm an idiot and traded it for a Peugeot 205 GTI Dima. If you haven't seen what those are, give it a Google. 205 GTI Dima. Traded it for that, and then like an idiot, I ended up importing a Ford pickup truck back to the United States. And so bought her, theirs was a 87 automatic. And she enjoyed driving it, but it wasn't super practical. So we ended up selling that one. The next one was a yellow 72 K20 front wheel drive swapped car. And it was, like I told Sean, it was a rocket in a straight line, but it had so much understeer. It wasn't a Mini anymore. It couldn't do what a Mini can do. So I sold it 18 days later. And I didn't do the work for it either, right? I mean, I bought a K20 swap that someone else had built, so I didn't really know the ins and outs of it either at that point.
Right.
See, that's always a gamble at that point, isn't it, really?
It is. And that's not how it didn't feel how I was hoping it would feel. And that was kind of that turning point of when I knew that if I was going to build a swapped Mini, I was going rear engine, rear wheel drive with it. Just to get a little bit different feel. And we'll kind of go into that in a little bit. But my biggest regret was I think it was an 88 that I bought again off of eBay, fully done, painted, roll cage, bucket seats, Weber carbs, carbon fiber, just about everything that could be. And I'm an idiot, and I sold it. Actually, I traded it for a 205 GTI Dima.
I mean, that's still pretty cool,
it's a cool car. It is a cool car. But it turns out I couldn't export it because it wasn't it was an 89 and it had a 90 engine in it. So it went from 6.
25-year rule?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, but they still have to have the same displacement and aspiration as they were manufactured with. And 89s didn't come with a 1.9, and it was a late 89, so it had the 90 1.9 in it, and I wasn't about to engine swap it to export.
That's killer.
So yeah, we ended up trading that
technicality,
and then ended up like an idiot exporting a Ford F-250 because I didn't. I was under. Yeah. I was a little unsure of what my future held, so I didn't want to bring something I couldn't rely on, if that makes sense. So it was kind of one of those life. Yeah, it's gone too now, but so as the story goes, came back to the United States, and life kind of happened. Had kids, settled down, bought a house. Couldn't really get back into the Mini scene because of the availability of them, finances, things like that. And kind of beat myself up about it a little bit and really wanted to. My wife knew that I wanted to build what I've built now. And probably 3 years ago, I talked to her, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this dream. Let's raise the kids. Let's let them get out of the house, and then maybe I can, after I retire, maybe then I can do this again, right? And it's such a bad addiction. Like I've been so addicted to wanting to build this that she legitimately asked me if I was going to commit suicide at that point.
Wow.
And
that's extreme.
It was, but it was. I mean, she wasn't like I wasn't by any means, But that's what her concern was. And about a month later, we're sitting on Xbox playing with a buddy of mine, and because I have that curiosity, I said, "Hey, man, what are you doing with the Mini?" And he had the '87 Cabriolet with a 998 in it, and I knew he hadn't driven it for 7-8 years. And he goes, "Well, I'm thinking about selling it." And I was like, "Okay, well, what do you think you can get out of it, man?" He's like, "I think I can get 10. My wife pipes in immediately, and she goes, "What would you sell it to us for?" And he goes, "If you guys come down and get it, I'll sell it to you for $3,000.
Oh, let's go.
That's a pack the car and head down straight away moment.
We were out, and it was just funny because I told her, I was like, "You understand, we're not committing to $3,000 if we do this. We're committing to like $30,000 to do it."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So we went down.
Starting point.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's not the only there's other J Series swap rear wheel drive V6 minis, but it's the only Cabriolet V6 swap rear wheel drive mini in the world, and I can work on my engine where they can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're already winning.
Yeah, so that's funny because I didn't realize it at first that it was a cab. I just thought you like chopped it up, and then I went back and looked, and I was like, oh, it was actually like that. Aha.
I'm not even a fan of the cabriolets.
No. I didn't.
No, I don't.
I don't even know. Was that even a factory option, or was that a?
No.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think it was a factory option. Someone did it back in the late '80s on this one.
I think it used to be quite a popular kit back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this thing. Interesting. That was a hot stock cab. Look at that. Like, what was it? Red or orange?
It was red. Yeah.
Nice.
It was in pretty good shape. It drove on the 998. I gave it a good run through some of the river bottom roads down here and scared a buddy of mine. But I was like, if you're scared now, you just wait.
Just wait.
You just wait.
So you already had this plan kind of just like cooked up in your head, minus the cabriolet part of it, right?
Yeah.
And then that kind of just escalated the design of it a little bit more.
Yeah, it did. I honestly kind of just went at it logically as realistic. Like, there's a couple other guys building these. There's, I know you've had Tyler on here, and he builds these. But I have access to everything. I mean, I've got to pull the top firewall off if I want to get to some stuff, but theirs is the same way, except for they have an entire cab over the top of it that they've got to work through, or they've got to pull their Lexan windows or something,
Right.
It's almost very Group B looking, isn't it?
That's what I was going for.
I love it.
Yeah, wide and low.
That's it.
Tell us your thought process. How was this? Did you do all this work yourself or what?
Yeah, I did. I did everything aside from probably installation of the rear subframe, just because of sheer size of it. But throughout the process, it was really like learn as you go. I de-seamed the whole thing. I know your 65's de-seamed, and you don't like it. And I can tell you from someone who's de-seamed a Mini, don't ever do it, because it is the worst part of this entire build. The hardest, the worst. It was just crazy.
It's not that I hate the full de-seams like with a regular Mini, and it just looks too bubbly for me. Mm-hmm. But like mine, like I'm fine with it. Like the what are they called? The sprints,
Yeah.
Those look cool. It's just the vertical seams, but mine was done so shittily that it's like I'm not I'm not like I'm not convinced that it's safe. Like the booger welds on the inside are just gross. So
What's the
yeah,
worst that
but
happens? Panel falls off.
I don't
You'll be all
know.
right.
I
You'll
don't,
be all
I
right.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man.
So, my other thought process is this is like kind of a like I wouldn't call you a purist, Mike, but there are purists out there.
Oh yeah.
That's why I've got the Acura badges on it. That's why that's why I've got the DC done. That's why I've gone carbon on it. You can't really tell. I don't know if I've posted any pictures of it, but the roof or the roof of it was a sunroof as well on the cab
Mm-hmm.
part.
Yeah.
Well, when I had a donor car out of the Acura, I separated the bracing from the hood and cut the hood out and replaced the sunroof patch with the hood of the Acura.
Okay,
Now that you
that's
said
cool.
that, I can tell.
Yeah, because it's not a smooth mini hood and it's got a body line down the middle of it, of
Yeah,
the
it
roof.
does. Wow, dude, you're making me lose followers right now. Just speaking about it. These.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, but you look at this thing, you can't not smile. It's cool. Like you got are those I'm drawing a blank on the name. The carbon fiber flares, those big wide ones.
Yeah,
Were those
yeah.
from Carbon Weasel or no?
No, I got them out of Rogue 7 out
Yeah,
of
Rogue
Arizona.
7. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Awesome dude to work with.
Yeah, super sick.
Yeah.
So how was the process of putting the engine in and kind of fabbing all this stuff up? Because is there a kit for that rear end part?
Yeah, there is. There's a kit. And I'm not coming on here to bash anybody by any means, but it was a struggle. It was hard. And it wasn't that the work was done, and it wasn't that the fabrication and the geometry was bad. It was just a struggle to make sure I got everything that I was supposed to be getting. And making it fit the right way. And realistically, like it'd be great if I was just building this car and selling it off to somebody. I don't need to know the details of it, but I plan to keep it for 30 years. So I need to know what the part number is for the rotors. I need to know what the part numbers are for the bolts, and it just didn't come with a lot of details. So it was very much like the only instructions I got were from, you had to splice in your own ECU wiring harness from the donor car. And it kind of gave you an idea how to pin it. And that was it. That was the only instructions I got. And I had some growing pains. I got the wrong axles. And so just axle lengths, like the swing arms are actually set to where you can move them out or in. I can actually be at a standard mini width if I want to.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, and I could run just like standard wheel arches if I wanted to, if I didn't have a 9-inch wide wheel on it. But you can only imagine how bad traction would be then, because it would be terrible. But I could make it pretty sleeper if I really wanted to.
I don't know if you couldn't at this point.
See, we just transplanted into the wife's 87.
You should
be all right.
You should put a soft top back on it.
I know. I was actually thinking about it. I was thinking about doing it. Or what I'd really like to do is if I can find a scrap, someone with a bad shell with no floors or whatever the case may be, I'd really like to do cut the B and the C pillars out and the back windows and make a removable hard top for it.
Ooh, like a truckman top.
Yes, yeah, like a Jeep.
That's dope.
And just use some Zeus fasteners and secure it to it, and they'd go all the way to the top of the windshield. I think it'd be cool.
I think we could find you that. Somebody get this man a shell.
Yeah.
For cheap.
On the cheap.
On the cheap. Hey, trust me, I say it all the time. I'm a cheapskate, man. I like deals. Listen, I'm not paying retail for nothing.
Yep. I'm with you there.
It's part of the fun of it, right? Finding a good deal to me is part of the fun of it.
Yeah. And I built the whole thing thinking let's do this as cheap as we can. In some cases, I kind of regret that. I pulled the J32 out of the donor car, and I didn't check seals. I didn't check. It ran when I pulled it out, and I put it in the way it was. And people are like, "Well, aren't you going to do the engine work too?" And I was like, "I just want to drive it, man. Let me drive it first." I got 150 miles on that engine and blew it.
Oh, womp womp womp.
Yeah. So spun 2 crank bearings.
Yeah, listen. I think that's what I was saying before, though, Sean. Right, last episode. Yeah. I think I drove. I don't know how many miles on the spun bearings. It just made a lot of noise.
Yeah,
that was an A series, the trusty A series, though. So.
Yeah, I didn't go very far.
How long did it take you to build this thing?
From the point I took the Sawzall to it to the first drive was probably about 18 months.
Wow,
that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Did you have like a bunch of the parts all like stockpiled first, or you just kind of were just booking it?
No, I was pretty obsessed with it, honestly. My wife's super patient, and I'm a pretty lucky dude, but it was just every night in the garage for 3 to 4 hours, and then every weekend in the garage. Kids got to learn some things, and
there you go.
My neighbors hate me. No, just kidding. They don't. But yeah, just a lot of grinding, a lot of cutting, trimming. Very much just trial by fire, and let's see how it fits. You know, a lot of the engineers are like, you know what? Rather than calculating all this, let's just see if we can make it work. And that's what this thing is.
Yeah. You don't you cut and then measure, right?
Yeah.
Cut and check.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot of people that kind of had some of these swaps that it is a lot of kind of trial and error. Even if it is a kit, it doesn't matter. I don't know if it's just because the minis are all kind of unique or what, but yeah, I mean, something like this isn't just a quick bolt-on affair. You cracking one right now? You trying to be quiet?
I am.
You try. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, baby.
Figured I'd see if it'd pick up.
No, rip the Band-Aid off. We don't care now.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been it does what I want it to do. I'm not great at driving it yet. Still trying to learn that. So I'm not going to try to put any more power into it. It's a stock V6. I've done an EGR delete, and the exhaust and intake had to be changed. But other than that, I've just deleted the power steering and deleted the AC compressor since I don't have them. And I just run a belt straight from the crank to the alternator, and that's the only thing it's got. So it gives me plenty. I think that's
kind of my question.
280.
Oh, I mean, that's a lot, but
that's plenty.
Jeez, yeah. I hear that kind of stuff all the time. I can't imagine that in a Mini. Like I don't know what mine actually makes, but a rebuild 1275 with a fast road cam, I don't know, 6570 maybe if I'm lucky. And that feels rowdy as shit. Like I can't imagine 280.
Yeah,
I can't imagine
It's that's why it doesn't look stock. I wanted it wide and low. It's got as big a tires as I can. They're 225, 45, 13s on it. And yeah, because I wanted traction, and I went 240, or I think they're 225s. Yeah, 225 45s on all 4 corners. And I was getting rid of the wings anyway, right? So I had to cut all that stuff out anyway. I was like, well, we'll make it fit. So
there you go.
I had to cut the wheel wells out. Had to cut the whole floor out. But as far as like bracing and everything like that, the rear end really is you use the same stock subframe mounts that you use on a classic Mini, but then it also sandwiches on your floorboard with about 18 bolts that go through the bottom of it, and then the top of your cage rolls in towards your A pillars in order to hold the top side of it. But I haven't felt any flex or anything, which I was kind of worried about. Luckily, it spins the tires before it bends the body in half. So that's good. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. So, all right, you've had this idea for a while. Was it just an idea, or did you want, like, it looks like you autocross it or track it a little bit. Was that kind of the plan, to just make an ultimate, like, autocross machine, or was it just kind of an after, thought, or what?
Yeah, that's why I went wide with it, to try to keep the stability. And as silly as it kind of sounds, with having 280 horsepower and rear wheel drive, it handles a lot like a Mini. My turning radius is a little bit smaller, but it feels the same way that a Mini feels. Maybe a little different, right? But nowhere near what like that K20 swap one was. If I had no intentions on like drag racing it, people are like, well, why don't you go drag race it? It's not that fun. Come on. So yeah,
what's the point? What's the point of that in a Mini, right?
yeah. So yeah, that was my intention. I want to build it as a driver's car. That's the reason why it doesn't have paint on it. It's just a primer with a rattle can clear coat on it right now. The metal's all good. I've sanded all the way down to the metal, and keep the flash rust off is pretty much all I'm doing. But I'm doing that because I have a feeling I'm probably going to slap a wall while I'm racing it. And I would rather learn how to drive it without having to redo a paint job and do some body work than have to redo a paint job after I slap a wall with it. So my wife doesn't like it when I talk about hitting walls in it, but it's
got a cage, right?
Yeah, it's got a cage. It'll be fine. I wear a helmet.
There you go. The first time my wife went with me, like in Canyon Run or something like that, she was like, "This needs a roll cage." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, all right, let's go check those out." She was like, "Is it gonna ruin the look of your car?" I was like, "It'll be all right."
Play it off cool, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, play it off. Go like, nah, no. I mean, maybe you're gonna really force me to get one of those.
I'm with her though. Every single Mini I've put a roll cage in.
I honestly, and all jokes aside, I really do actually want one, because I can only imagine sometimes, like, even when I'm just cruising on the highway and there's like an 18-wheeler passes me, I'm like, I don't feel. I mean, I don't know if a roll cage would do anything at that point, but like, it just.
It couldn't be worse,
isn't it?
Yeah. It's gonna do something. Yeah. So,
but
Mom, if you're listening, I'm trying to be safe.
Yeah. But I did plan on racing it. It's road legal. It might not be road legal in California with you, but it's road legal here. And do canyon runs with it, car cruises with it, cars and coffee or car meets or track days or whatever the case, just as long as it's not wet outside. It's good to go.
What do you think the biggest difference is from that K21 to what you've built, and why, that one was so rowdy, I guess, versus this one?
I think it was the weight over the front wheels. It just wouldn't hook the same way, which seems like you would want weight over your front wheels in order to hook, but it didn't. It like plowed when you'd go into a corner or roundabout, whatever the case may be. Right. And this one doesn't. I'm super light up front. The only thing up there is I've got the fuel cell up there, the battery, and I intentionally put it up there to try to add some weight up front.
Right.
But it's super light. There's one of the pictures on my Instagram, and I'm coming out of a corner, and it looks like it's about to take off. It looks like it's about to pull front wheels, but it keeps it light. It keeps it nimble, but not so light that the wheels aren't contacting. So I think that's what it is. I think just the balance of it. My grip's actually surprisingly well, just because of where the motor's at. So it's sitting over the top of the wheels. It's got a limited slip diff in it.
So you ended up pulling it out though to do a rebuild. Did you? It's just, I think you said it already. It's stock. Did you just did a refresh on it?
Yeah, I did. So I ended up picking up a 3.5 liter out of a Honda Pilot.
Okay.
That was just sitting in a guy's garage, whatever. And I did a refresh on the bottom end on it, and then did a refresh on the top of the old one. It looked like when those rod bearings spun, it looked like it shot a glitter bomb through the whole bottom end of that block. And I didn't really trust to rebuild it. So I went and picked up a 3.5, and then I used the 3.2 heads and intake. They've got better valve springs, a better cam, better intake setup. So it's got a 3.2 top end, a 3.5 bottom end, and then a 6-speed out of I think an 04 rebuilt. Had a buddy of mine out in the East Coast that rebuilt it and sent it to me. But it's kind of like a Frankenstein engine. They call it a 3.5 S Type S, since it's got the 3.2 heads on it.
Isn't it kind of funny that you could take like a Honda Pilot engine and get rowdy with it in like another car?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like no one would think like, oh yeah, I'm running a Honda Pilot engine.
yeah. And they're so widespread too. The Pilots had them, the CLs had them, the TLs had them. My wife was really curious why I was so adamant about getting a Honda Odyssey. And that's because if I need a spare engine, we have a Honda Odyssey.
There you go. The cat's out of the bag, wifey.
Yeah, she knows now. So
that's hilarious. I love that. You were talking about it being light. Do you have an idea of what it might weigh?
I'm thinking right around 1,500 pounds. I don't have any interior, and I don't know, what do they weigh curb weight stock?
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. Is it can't be much more than like what mine would weigh, because it doesn't have the back end. It's pretty much stripped. So I mean, I think mine, I don't know, I would estimate mine 1,500, 1,600. I don't know. Mine doesn't really have an interior either, but I don't know.
I think I'm right around there. The engine's a bit heavier than what the 998 was, right? But with the strip of everything else, I don't think I'm much more than 1,500 pounds.
That's pretty crazy, man.
I figure if I can get it to 300 horsepower, which I don't want to go beyond that really right now. I'm like power to weight ratio Lamborghini Aventador status.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. We had Tyler Gildred on from Gildred Racing, and I don't know if you guys remember, and I don't even know if we talked about this on the episode now, I don't remember, but that Netflix series, like Fastest Car, do you remember that?
Yep, he pulls that 720S.
Yeah, it's just like, but like, it's almost near, the power to weight ratio is just insane in these swapped cars, or swapped minis rather, and it's just like, it's crazy to think about.
Well, what's crazy is how well he hooked off the line. He pulled that GTO that's got 1,100 horsepower. like yanked him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, it hooks pretty good. It does, especially in like a straight line. It's pretty funny. I was coming back from like a car meet last week. Maybe it was a Cars and Coffee. I don't remember, but no, it was a car show. We went to a car show, and I was coming back up the highway and pulled over into the one side lane, and I saw the Porsche. I acknowledged him, but he like romped on it to get up to the stoplight with me. A couple old dudes just throw hang loose out the window, And
yeah. That's cute.
Yeah, I think he was a GT2, and I was like, all right, well, I'll get on it a little bit, and I think I hit rev limiter in third, which puts me somewhere around 90, and I honestly don't know if he hit the gas or not, but he came up, gave me a big old thumbs up, afterwards. It was so cool.
I love that. Yeah. See, I can't do that in mine, but that's like the famous Fast and the Furious scene,
Yeah.
Nice car. What's the retail on one of those?
yeah, no joke. Yeah.
Were you by yourself? Did you tell yourself to smoke them?
Yeah, I did. More than you can afford, but.
Oh man, that's epic. I love it. So if you had to like do it all over, would you change anything? Is there something that you want to improve on outside of horsepower? Is there, handling, suspension, anything like that?
I'm gonna think. That's a good question. I honestly, if I could redo the entire build, I'd put it in a pup.
Ooh, that would
It'd
be
give
pretty.
me a little bit more access. I don't know if you've seen that guy on Instagram. He's got that Audi V8 in his,
In
and
a pup?
yeah,
You gotta
he's
send me
actually
that.
it's for sale right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but the access looked pretty incredible, and realistically, the body style is just so much cooler than what mine is. Um, I like the sedans even better than that, but I think I'd put it in a pup just because it's even more unique, right?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't remember who it is. I'm sure there's several of them out there, but there's a. It's not. It's a. I think it's a series, but the truck bed of the pup has like this sick like bracing like cage like X brace in it. Like that would be real cool over the engine, and obviously it'd be easy to remove. That
Yeah.
would just look tough.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. It'd be just a little bit more unique. I mean, it is pretty damn unique right now, especially in the States. But
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's not too many minis in general in Utah, but definitely not one like yours.
yeah.
What you go to autocross a lot? Is that what you mainly do?
Yeah, I've been doing autocross this year, and it's fun. I mean, honestly, so the class is pretty solo because suspension geometry is completely different, right? The engine's not even in the right place of manufacture, so I'm in like an extreme class where the guys I'm racing against are like, um, Miatas, chopped Miatas with LS swaps. So, so I'm
So,
not at that. I'm not at that competitive level yet. So.
uh, if you become a better driver, do you think you would be?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd be able
Or
to keep up with them.
the car could be. Not that
Yeah.
you're a bad driver. I'm just saying.
No, you're absolutely right. Like it's very much driver. The only thing that kind of puts me at a disadvantage, like I've got no traction control, I've got no stability management, I've got no ABS, I've got none of those things that a lot of those modern cars have that really are huge assists for the driver. So it's going to take a lot for me to really learn it.
Right.
But I joke about it, but I'm kind of serious. My wife's 998. She's got an 87 that we're getting back up on the road and good to go. She's going to beat me in autocross. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I really want to start autocrossing, and I'm curious of like, well, one, I don't know any of the classes, but I'm just curious of like, how minis would stack up in the various classes because they do handle so well. That's like the perfect racing for them is autocross.
You'll be going against Fiestas. Check it out.
Smoking it.
I can send you a link that kind of lets you class your car. But I think I think they'll kill it, to be honest, and you might not even have a ton of competition, stateside anyways. But I think you're going to be doing 1 liter eco boosts against, or trying to think of what else runs out there, but just small cars, maybe even the class, or like a modern mini, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good point. I know. I mean, there is Vintage Auto Racing Association out here that does a bunch of stuff. So I've been looking into it. There's just not a ton in my area. I have to kind of drive a little bit further, but I think they're starting to kind of do a little more autocrossing over at the fairgrounds, which would be cool. If I had a running mini, da-da-dun-dun. I'm about to scrap. I'm about to scrap it all and just buy all new one.
Both of you guys got to get it. You both got to get one. Get one running.
God, dude, it's not for lack of trying, man. I'm just sitting here with my freaking. Anyways,
it seems like time to work on the 65 then.
It's that one. I really want to. It's not that I don't. It's just that I'm the type of guy that I want to do it in the order that I want to do it. And right now I want to strip it and send it to like paint and body because I just want them to do, like, I want somebody that knows metal work to deal with those seams, whether I either keep them or put them back. I don't care. I just want somebody that's like proficient in welding to do that, because it's, I started and I was, I'm not gonna mess with it.
Yeah, and
at that point, oh, go ahead.
From your guys' last episode, I'm on board with Sean getting just a temp mini in place.
Thank you.
I have been looking.
You got to, man. You got to.
Like, come on, right? Like, that's a no-brainer where you live. Like, for us, like, okay, now we're dropping another 15 to 20 grand to get a temp mini. But for you pick up one for freaking $3 or some shit like that.
$3, yeah.
Right?
$3's a hell of a deal if you get a mini for that.
It is. Yeah. Take it, run.
Yeah.
No,
whatever the conversion is over there, I don't know.
I think I paid $2,200 for my first one. $2,200 for mine first one, and it was in pretty good shape.
Yeah. I still got you beat for both of mine.
That's so crazy, man. That's crazy.
Pinkies up, bitches.
Yeah.
Listen, that's a hell of a deal, and I admit it, but I still think there's deals out there. There's great deals out there, and you always see them, but it's just you gotta wait. If you want to, they're projects. They're not. Yeah, they're never clean ones for sure.
Yeah, I've got So we just picked up my wife's 87 from another friend of mine who imported it. It's a Mini 30, or no, 89. It's an 89. Mini 30. We're gonna keep it pretty well stock. I'm gonna keep the 998 in it. I'll keep the A series in it. We're gonna throw. Don't be too mad. I'm gonna throw airbags on it too.
Yeah, do it.
I think airbags with 10s.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got my original Mini. That 88. I ended up trading it for a Ford Ranger because I needed something a little more practical for my wife driving. And my buddy still got it. It's stateside, and I offered him money for it 2 years ago, right before I bought mine. And I said, all right, man, let's do it. How about $5,000? And he's like, all right, cool, let's do it. He calls me back the next day. He's like, I told the wife and kids about it, and they all started bawling.
Oh no!
He's like, dude, I can't sell it. I'm like, I get it. I'll talk to you next year. Like, I'll keep this pry on, and then I've got another buddy who's doing a B series all-wheel drive swap on his. And he's got 3 or 4 right now, and he's got a pup that he's completely restored, and he just doesn't drive it. So I was like, hey man, how about $10,000? You do $10,000? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So had a deal, and I was like, all right. And he calls me back the next day. He's like, I told my wife about it. She said she'll leave me if I get rid of it.
Oh my God.
No joke, man. She's like, that is your personality. I can't do it. And he's like, man, I can't sell it. I was like, all right, I'll talk to you next year, man.
That's so funny. I've heard that story a lot with minis. Like, I know somebody else specifically had a pup that's something similar. He was going to sell it. No, anything but the pup.
Yep. Sell the family van. I don't care.
Yeah. I've been through some parts. I'm like, I'm just getting rid of this shit. Like, and my wife's like, you're not getting rid of any of your cars. I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'll go get a roll cage now.
Yep. Yep. That's what you got to do, man.
Perfect timing.
Hey, you gotta have the family that's supportive of the mini addiction, right?
Oh yeah. And she's, this is her mini, right? She'll drive it to the car show. She'll do it to the Cars and Coffees, but she's like, let's paint it pink. Nah. We're not. We're gonna keep them. It's a black Mini 30. We're gonna keep it a black Mini 30.
You don't see. That's the thing. You don't see black very often. Do some like pink vinyl accents maybe for.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, right. Like the piping on the seats or something like that. We could do pink or something. So
yeah. You don't see black at all. I've only seen a couple. I would do that. Would actually be a cool color combo. Black with some pink accents.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
There we
Give
go.
her a little feeling of her own, but canyon drives and stuff like that, man, it'll be kind of crazy. It'll be fun, but
I don't know if I've ever seen bags on a Mini. I've seen that one guy. I think he I think he twisted it. He had the hydraulics on it. Remember that? What was that guy? What was
that juiced orange one, wasn't
juiced.
it? Yeah,
juiced.
juiced.
I heard he twisted it, and it's like total now.
Yeah, killed the shell.
He would low ride the shit out of that. It was just hopping down.
I mean, props for going so hard with it all the time.
Dude,
Man,
so
legend.
hard. But I've never seen somebody with bags on a Classic Mini that I know of, at least.
Yeah, everybody's got a kit.
Yeah, I know of somebody who's made their own on a Clubman estate.
Wait, Air Ride makes a Classic Mini bag kit.
Airrideco.uk makes a kit for the minis.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
why
is they
I have never seen this. What?
Yep. It pretty much replaces your donuts, like your cones.
I thought it would be very simple. Yeah. I thought about it a couple times, and it was like, yeah, it's got to be fairly simple. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you could do a universal one and hook it up somehow, but wow, interesting.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited for it.
I'm very excited for it now.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when you're done. We'll get you back on and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, in good time. This one's going to probably, I'll be honest, hers will probably get paint before mine gets paint.
Yeah, well.
But I'm excited to be able to go to a car show and park mine next to a pretty well stock Mini. Because it's funny, when you go to a car show here, not a lot of people have even seen a Mini.
Yeah.
So when they see mine, not a lot of people even understand. They're like, "Oh, was the engine always in the back?"
Yeah.
I'm flattered, but you have no idea. You know?
They have no idea. Yeah, they have no idea. I mean, even in where I'm at, a lot of people have no clue what my relatively stock-looking Mini is. They're, So interesting. Yeah. Very cool, man.
Yeah, it gets the reaction though. That's for sure. I got a buddy who lives a couple doors down, right? And he's got an all-wheel drive TSI Talon, Cabrio, or his is the Spider all-wheel drive, and his is like clean. I mean, he could win. He wins car shows, and we went to a Cars and Coffee the other day, and he brought his wife with him, and we parked next to each other, whatever. And I look over, and his wife's like mouthing to me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like. So I end up walking over there, I'm like, why were you asking me if I was okay? And she's like, dude, your car is surrounded with people as soon as I park. And I was like, I love it. I can only
imagine. Sean, is it like that over there? Like, do people love Minis as much? Like, same thing. When I go to Cars and Coffee, I'll park next to whatever. It could be Lambo or some other cool classic car, and it's immediately people are taking pictures and surrounding it, and it's probably just they don't see it very often. But I'm curious if it's such an iconic car, it's got to be popular over there too, no matter how many you see.
Oh, hugely. It doesn't matter which car show you ever go to or Cars and Coffee morning. Everyone either always knows somebody who's had one or had one when they were younger, or their family had a Mini. So it's a constant nostalgia for people over here.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like you said, you could park it next to a Lambo or anything like that, and the Mini's always going to draw the attention every time. It's crazy. Even if it's a standard Mini or as modified as the V6 one, sitting in front of us, it's so cool. It's such a good feeling as well, especially when you're driving down the motorway or the freeway and you get all the thumbs up. That is the best feeling ever.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know where in the world that you won't get looks or thumbs up driving down the motorway. It's like I didn't get a Mini for attention, but it's always fun to just like look over and see a kid taking a picture of it, or like just there's always somebody like hanging out the window trying to film you, or
kids love it,
giving you a thumbs up. Yeah,
they love it. I've got a lot of parents come up. They're like, can your doors open? Can I get them close so they can take a picture? I was like, here, let me put the harness on.
Doors open.
Like, yeah, sit in it. Like,
yeah, there we go.
You want me to start it? So
yeah. How old are your kids, Kade?
So I've got 4 of them. I've got a 14-year-old, I've got an 8-year-old, and I've got twin 5-year-olds.
Dang,
you're a busy man.
Busy man.
Busy.
I was I didn't know you had that many. I was gonna say, do you bring them along with you? But you only have one seat, huh?
Yeah, I still do. It's just whoever's the favorite that week.
I get you. All right.
No, usually my oldest. Usually my oldest will come with me. She's kind of getting to that age to where she'll start driving here in a year and a half or so, right? So I took her out to the autocross, and she ran shotgun with me. Went and got a helmet for her, and she had a blast. She plays it off right. She's got to be a cool teenage girl to where,
of course,
I'm not that excited, but you can tell when you get out of the car and your hands are shaking. She knows.
Yeah,
like, I know. So it was.
Oh,
she had a good time.
That's cool. She should do her driving test in the V6 Mini.
Ooh. I don't know if Dad's gonna let her drive the Mini yet.
Yeah. Well, the driving school will probably be like, "What the hell?" Like,
yeah.
Fail automatically. No.
Yeah. The reverse lights are on a toggle switch, so I'm not sure that they'll let that happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a built not bought feature right there.
Yes, it is.
All right, Kade, you were talking a big game about the Patty probe here, so I'm expecting some solid ass answers.
All right. I gotcha.
We'll start with an easy one. What is your favorite mini variant?
I'm gonna go with a Clubman Estate.
Not a bad answer. I
Solid
don't know if anyone
choice.
said Clubman Estate.
I love them. They're just. I'd really like to transplant this power plant into an estate and get that longer wheelbase.
Yeah,
and
that'd be cool.
I think it'd be a little bit more manageable, honestly.
Yeah. You could kind of just fold the seats forward and just tinker on the engine inside the car. Mm-hmm. And if it's raining outside track side, you can just have you have your little cover over you. So
yeah, you'd be good to go.
You kind of hinted at this one earlier, or at least kind of leaked a little bit. But how many minis do you currently own, and how many have you owned?
So 2 currently. Are we counting modern minis?
Yeah,
I think I did on. Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
I've got 2 currently. So adding those 2 would be. How about Austin America? Do we count an Austin America?
No. I don't know.
It had a 1275.
Ask the Brit. I don't know. Ask the Brit. That's not a mini variant, is it?
As it is.
That's not a mini. That's not a mini variant. I don't think. No.
You don't think so? It had a 1275 A+ engine.
Yeah. Well, that was just BMC though.
Yeah. I guess that's fair enough. All right, 7 then.
Okay.
And 2 currently.
Hey, those aren't rookie numbers.
You know what? I'll be with you because I even said mini adjacent.
Yeah. There you go.
Austin America's mini adjacent.
There you go. Mini adjacent. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yep. All right. Now, this is the big question that I've been waiting for because not many people have done multiple of these. So, A series, Honda swap, or other?
I've had all of them. Well, I guess not other, technically. Right? I'm going with the Honda swap. Yeah. I've got to, man. And I'm not even just going to say V6 Honda swap because the D series front wheel drive, and I'll tell you why. Man, I cannot, and this is going to put me loose followers, right? I can't tune an SU car. Fuel injection is the way for me.
Rookie.
I know.
You have to have a computer? Rookie. I do. I got my screwdriver up to the dash pot. I'm over here boop, boop.
Don't get me wrong. This 998 will start right now. I can tune it enough to run, but it's just not the same as having a Weber. I can do a Weber, and that's probably what's going to end up happening as a conversion.
That's my next
to a Weber.
one, yeah.
Or Cole's fuel injection setup.
Hey, let me know. Gold Tooth Cray, you get a discount.
Okay, it's expensive, man. It's
that's why you can use Gold Tooth Cray at Classic Mini DIY for a discount.
Okay, I like it. I'll do it, man.
No, that setup is really cool, and Cole is an awesome dude, and he did a lot of work to get that kind of up and running, and he's still kind of he's done some awesome shit for the mini community, and that specifically looks real cool. I can't wait for his build to be done.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and that's really the only reason I'm going to go away from the A series, because I do like the A series. It's just the tuning on it. So, I mean, I'm still running points ignition on this. I'm still running the SU, the HS4. It's not even an HIF, so it's tedious, and I enjoy driving them so much more than I enjoy maintaining them.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, it's I think the get rid of the points would help a lot, but one of my best compliments in my life is I took my car to get the exhaust fixed on this. When I can't tell too much, but I bashed it on that road trip, and we'll get to that at another date. But the guy who owns this exhaust shop near me in California here, he grew up with minis, and he had one, and he had a Cooper S or something like that. And when I came back to pick it up, he was like, "Man, your car just starts on a one crank." He was like, "Your carb is tuned so well," and I was like, "Yep, I know."
And you know what? I think that it's just kind of exposure, right? Because my 998s, I've never actually had a 1275. I've had the 998s, and I've had a 1380.
Yeah.
And all of them started up, no problem. Even this one, oh man, I'm trying to think of what her name is. Beatrix. That's this car's name.
I love it.
Dude, it's like split personalities. I drove it around the neighborhood, ran great, started right up. And 2 days later, I go to start it, and it just will not start. And I did the 2 pence wax stat mod.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Sean is pretty familiar with it too.
Yeah,
no, I'm not. I'm afraid.
Really?
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you throw the you take the wax stat and take the jet apart, and then throw 2 pence. And I had 2 pence because the diameter of them, and it changes it so that it doesn't adjust thermally, right? So it makes it like a fixed jet. Yeah. So I'm aware, and I'm good with the carbs, but maybe it's just this one that's really rubbed me the wrong way, man. But I ended up replacing it with a fixed.
My non-wax stat HS4 was probably my favorite carb, and I'm thinking about going back to it. But I don't know why. I just like the response of it a little bit better than my HIF 44 for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering it as fondly as my first SU carb.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to learn. I'm not ashamed to say that.
I feel like the SU though is a great like starter carb. It's pretty damn simple compared to like a Weber, which has a ton of different jets and adjustments and venturis or whatever you would call them. So
yeah, I'm weird. I can do the Webers all day.
You know, Kade, you just gave me a great Patty Probe question that I don't know why I don't have this on here, but what is your Mini's name, or does your Mini have a name? That's going on there, but you just said Beatrix. What about your V6? Does it have a name?
It does. It is. So I'm trying to remember exactly. I've got a skilled friend who is very good at naming cars accurately.
Yeah.
So that's why this one's Beatrix, and this one is, what's the little girl's name in Despicable Me?
I googled.
Oh my gosh, Google it. It starts with a G.
Girl in Despicable Me. Here it comes.
Oh man.
Gru?
No.
Edith Gru?
I think it's Edith.
Is that her?
Yep. Edith.
Or Agnes Gru? Agnes? That's what's popping up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It says Margot, Edith, and Agnes. I don't know. Not clear on Google.
Let me message you. I think it's Agnes. We don't know if it'll stay once it's painted, but it's got a very Agnes dirty girl type name. You know.
I like that. It's a dirty girl for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
10-inch, 12-inch, or 13-inch?
hate this one. Um,
Toughie. Well, no one said the Patty Pro was easy.
I know. And aesthetically, I'm going to go with a 10-inch. But my overall pick's going to be the 13 because you can fit so much more tire on it. That's it. I understand the ride quality is not good in a 13, but I also don't drive my Mini for ride quality.
It's
Right.
not for comfort for sure.
Yep. But aesthetically, I do love a 10. I love a 10, how it fits. I love how it rides. But there's no way I could get a 225 on a 10.
What if you ran the 10-inch with Hoosiers on it? What would that do? Do you think that would hook? I mean, obviously, daily driving it wouldn't be very appropriate, but racing.
Well, I mean, I'm running Toyo R888Rs right now anyway, right? So what's the difference? But those Revos, do they go a 10 by 10?
I don't know what the sizing are of them. I'm trying to think because I have on my Cooper S the 10 by 6 wheel I have came with Dunlop slicks, not Hoosiers, Dunlops. I don't remember the sizing. I'm drawing a blank on it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could go to a 10, the only issue I have right now is the front brakes. I've got the Willwood set on them. I don't think a 10 would fit over my calipers. But the wife's Mini, that's going on 10s for sure. It's going to go on.
That's the other thing too with yours though. Like 10s is you kind of need to go 12 or 13 for brakes just for safety.
Yeah. So for function of my car, I would say 13s, but for hers is definitely going on some 10 smoothies.
Nice. I like that. This is one of my favorites. If you could have a drink, coffee, beer, or tea with one mini celeb, who would it be?
I'm gonna go with Charlize Theron from the new Italian Job.
Ooh.
Because she drove like a boss, and she's drop dead gorgeous, and I'm sure she drinks whiskey. So
I love that answer. And that's obviously no one else has said that, so that's a great answer. Great
appreciate
answer.
It.
Kudos to that. See, you held up to your.
I held up to my
talking. You held up to your end. You even gave me a new Patty Probe question.
There we go.
I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that's a great call there, Kade.
What about yours? What are your guys' cars? You got names for them?
Yeah, mine is my. Kind of my Instagram name. Mine is actually Reggie Cray, which is the infamous Cray twins were mobsters in the UK, Reggie Cray. And it came with one gold wheel when I got it. All the other ones were like dark green. So we called it Gold Tooth Cray. So that's...
I like it, man.
Yeah, I haven't quite come up with... I haven't quite come up with a name for the S yet. Something's calling me to call it Itty Bitty or Itsy Bitsy or something. I don't know. It's just like nothing, it just hasn't hit yet because it's just haven't spent enough time with it, but I don't know.
You got to feel it out.
Got to feel it out. Yeah.
You got to at least drive it at least once just to even see where it's going to take you with that sort
of. I think so. Yeah.
How about yours, Sean? Just scrapyard or?
No. Scrapyard's my own sort of personal sort of name for the socials. So the Outlaws named Grommet from Wallace and Gromit.
Love it.
Yeah.
It looks like a Grommet.
Yeah, it really is a Grommet.
Oh, man. I love it. Well, it was a pleasure having you on, Kade. Very interesting story and very interesting car. Like I said, it was V6_Mini, correct?
Yes.
Go check him out. Look at this thing. Go support him. Anything else you want the people to know, Kade?
I don't think so, man. Drive your cars. That'd be my drive it. If it's not running, you guys get it running. Let's drive it. It's huge. I've got some of my best friends in the world are because of because of this car. And it creates relationships as silly as a piece of metal with four wheels could do so. Get out and drive. It's fun.
100%. I
Couldn't
love that
agree more.
message, man. I love that. It's true. It's true, man. I've met so many great people through cars, and I don't have a lot of friends in general in life anymore. I just don't live by any of I don't live by any of my friends that I had in high school or college, but I have a ton. Yeah, I have a ton
You're
of
an
friends
adult too, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, shit, adulting. But I made a lot of friends through cars, so that's a great message. I love that. So,
So thanks
all
for having
right.
me on, guys.
Absolutely, guys. I
Love it.
will
Have you on.
catch you guys on the next one.